Something's got a hold on me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa, out of my mind. How many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? Yeah, it's taking a toll on me. Trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know I lose control when you're not next to me? I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're not next to me. Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me. Problematic. Problem is, I want your body like a fiend, like a bat.
Welcome to another episode of The Brothers Show. Before we get started, please remember that everything we talk about here is for entertainment and educational purposes only. The brothers and our guests may or may not be licensed therapists, medical professionals, lawyers, or financial advisors, and nothing said on this show should be taken as professional advice. All opinions expressed by the host and guests are our personal views. We also react to videos, articles, and other media under the Fair Use Act for commentary, criticism, and discussion. We do not claim to own any third-party content shown. Viewer discretion is advised, and we encourage you to do your own research and consult qualified professionals for advice specific to your own life situation. This channel complies with applicable federal and state laws, YouTube's community guidelines, advertising policies, and platforms. Again, welcome to the brothers.
Welcome to the brothers.
Okay. Well,
What's up, America?
What's happening?
What's happening? All right. So, there's a lot going on, fellas. And you know, this is our hot topics episode, as we say, right? So, did you all hear about all these apparently people were creating deep fakes of Dr. King?
No.
And so OpenAI has right
AI is
has just
going
banned
wild.
people from doing it, but not before that people were able to kind of get their shots off, I guess, which is ridiculous. The estate had to contact OpenAI and let them know that people were doing this. And I think they actually protected Malcolm X's, or they were considering protecting Malcolm X's and Roland Park, but they definitely protected Dr. King because his estate reached out. But they said there was an AI content farm overseas that was doing this or allowing it. But here's what's interesting. You're not going to be able to stop it forever. AI has just taken off and we've not caught up with it. And the laws, that's how laws are. They're just not very proactive. They're very, very reactive, you know?
Yeah. But can you keep up with it, though? I mean, like, it's not regulated, technically. How
Not
can you regulate something that keeps evolving daily?
right. Daily.
You know what I'm saying?
So I was kind of wondering, like, y'all want to see one?
Go ahead. I'm with
It's
it.
not funny, but it's kind of disrespectful for real.
really?
I'm with it.
Huh? All right, here it goes. This is crazy.
One of us on here, they from where Martin Luther King got murdered
Sure is. Don't
And
start
celebrate
it.
and celebrated.
I don't
Check this
celebrate
out.
it.
I had a dream to be dripping off VVS diamonds. Now I'm flexing on Malcolm and I'm shining. 500K on the wrist, 60K in my mouth. I brush with Windex, gang.
I'm trying to see what that thing looked like from the back. We're playing with a player.
I just laughed at what y'all said.
No way! That's him! You have got to be kidding me! Martin Luther King Jr.
Look like you, Wing.
into a wrestling ring. Wait, the roof's about to 8 years away.
You want to know the truth? I ain't got no dreams no more. I am the dream.
What did you say that? The crowd is turning on him.
This is unbelievable.
I has a
Oh
dream.
God, not a do-rag.
that one day they gonna free all my homies out that jail cell on phony.
They wrong.
I had a dream that we are not judged by the color of our skin, but by the clarity of our diamond.
Oh my
That
God.
was the end.
We made it, fam.
You still need to pay for those.
I have a dream that one day these will be free of charge.
Y'all wildin'.
Today is that day.
Oh, the day is that day.
Yeah, the sky ain't here full of stars, but I keep the dream on my neck. You see it? Ice heavy, heart steady, got the vision in the paper, both in hand. People thought freedom was free. Nah, we pay for it, we grind for it, we shine for it.
Or you still have to pay for the slushy.
My sister, I have a dream that one day this slushy will be free for all who thirst.
Sir, hey, sir, this isn't about dreams. It's about paying for your slushy.
Yo.
Listen, you gotta
Listen
chill.
though, but
You gotta chill. Like that's how
do
you
you ever think though? He was a regular dude, other than we had to be on TV and stuff. He's still a dude, you know what I'm saying? He probably
he-
talk like that.
I don't think so, Al. Come on.
Man,
bro.
come on. How many? Okay, I'm sorry, Fred, but how many preachers you know when it ain't Sunday and in their pulpit, they talking cash-ish. They talking cash-ish.
I
Not
don't
like
know if-
that.
Did you guys hear the story about Nike with Martin Luther King? How they monetized their shoe after LeBron? You know they call LeBron the King, and
Yeah.
they made the colors after the colors of the what is it? The motel that he was killed in.
Lorraine
Oh,
Motel?
the Lorraine
Yeah.
Motel?
Yeah, and it's a big thing because people are like, "Oh wow, you're gonna monetize." Because what does that teach young kids
They-
going to buy those shoes? And you
But
know
what
you
were the
pretty much.
colors, Fred?
Is it what is the color? We went. You took us. It's like,
It's like a-
green, and I don't know what the shoe is. I think he wore it. LeBron wore it on the Martin Luther King.
He paying
Dang.
tribute, man. People so sensitive.
Yeah, but the family has to protect the image, brand, and likeness. You know, because if
Right.
you don't, oh, I see it. Okay, can I show it to America?
Yeah, please let us see. 'Cause it was a big. It's been a big topic. ESPN covered it.
Man, do we put too much weight on some stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, the motel. But they're monetizing. But after, I think the issue is you're monetizing something
Right.
that he
He
got
monetized
murdered
his
there.
death. He got
Right,
murdered
he was
there.
murdered there. This is not a this is not his birthplace. This is where
Oh,
he
you got
died.
murdered on what you call the other day.
Where?
What you saying?
Where?
One of the streets in here in Atlanta.
See,
It prob-
but even if they
Probably on
did murder
Metropolitan.
in Atlanta,
I get it
that's
though,
not
but-
somebody who's Dr. King. They're not known like that, you know.
Right.
Well, half these kids don't even know who Dr. King is. They go to
But that's the
Booker T.
issue.
Washington. They can't tell you who Booker T. Washington
But
is.
Don't
That's
y'all
the
think that's
issue.
the problem?
That's the
Has it come a time where our civil rights leaders need to be put to rest? I hear that this
Ooh.
generation, this new generation, these YNs as they call them,
Why?
because we don't know that about no King, no Malcolm X. No, man,
We don't.
that's your problem, though. Isn't that
Well,
a problem?
Ooh.
Let me say this. It can be a problem. They don't know their history, right? However, past Martin Luther King, we don't talk about Marcus Garvey enough. We don't talk about all these other people. We talk about the people they polarize for us.
Mhm.
And to some degree, me personally, y'all know me, y'all can call me conspiracy theorist. Some degree, I think that they give us something to pacify us,
Mhm.
to not look elsewhere. It's more than just a Martin Luther King that did things. It's more than just a Rosa Parks. There are others, and that they don't get the acknowledgments that they should get.
I agree.
They're in our own families. There are probably somebody we did deep enough that was the first of something.
Yeah.
The first that did
Yeah.
this, that stood up for this. But I think sometimes not negating the greatness, but it's more to it. Why did they narrow it down? Think about when you was in school. Most people, when they did a report in Black History, is on Martin Luther King,
True.
Rosa Parks,
That's
but you never did it on other revolutionaries. And I'm a Marcus Garvey fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I just think that it's more out there. So it's not taken away from the great works, but everybody of African American or African descent didn't follow the same ideology. Some didn't believe that peace came from just peaceful walking. Some
Right.
people felt you need to fight fire with fire, right?
Mhm.
And they're very revolutionary. So, I say that. But to answer your question, I'm gonna let y'all chime in. I think that history hasn't been passed down, and I think it's generationally.
Mm.
You got to understand the generation we're dealing with now are like COVID kids that didn't have social emotional learning in school. They wasn't learning that. And then
Right.
you think about all the things they took out of the schools.
Well,
I think some things are just systematically done to
Right.
us, sometimes by us, but to us.
Right.
That's your
You said
question.
one more
I think it is our fault for not passing it down and having those conversations. All history doesn't have to be taught in school; it needs to be taught in home as well.
Right. I agree with that. But has it outdated, outlived its time? That's the question.
Fred, you want to answer?
that's a difficult question. Coming from the West Coast, we didn't get the same education. I don't believe we got the same education background of our black leaders, right? For whatever reason, I don't know if it's by design or is it by just lack of knowledge or knowledge not being presented. But I I think that, to your point, Ab, I think that we do need to. There's other people, and we recognize there are other people that have done things and that we don't speak about. But then it's also the Martin Luther Kings are polarizing, right? We should never take away our polarizing people or idols, for lack of a better word, out of it, because that we can always lean to that, right? There's certain people, yeah, I think we know that there are many more people, but we can always fall back on what we all agree upon. And I think that's very important. I mean, whites and blacks, for whatever reason, Martin Luther King was someone that we both can kind of agree upon. Is it right, wrong, or different? But why take that power away from it? Because we take Martin Luther King, they don't, Malcolm X, they will never give him the respect because of what they thought, right? So now we're taking away from something that we can at least uplift, and we won't, in my opinion, they'll try to take all of it away. So
Yeah.
They're doing it now. They're definitely doing it right now. I think you're right, Fred. I think you're right.
just think about Arizona still federally they don't celebrate Martin Luther King Day, right? That's
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 right.
that's unique, right? You still have states. You have Donald Trump that says, "Oh, I'm gonna charge y'all to go and see the monuments. I'm gonna celebrate my birthday. It's free on Donald Trump Day, but you gonna pay on Martin Luther King Day, right?"
They
So they're
sure did.
already yeah,
Yeah.
they're already trying to strip us of what we have. So I agree with you, App. I think we should acknowledge more. But to what should we take down what we already have to bring up others, or is there a way we can kind of collaborate and do it one and the same?
I think it's symbolism. I think it was more me personally. He was a martyr for peace, right? And I think that is the thing that I do love. That he was definitely about peace. Um, I just never bought into it. I was definitely more of a rebel mindset. I think sometimes the bully doesn't understand until you hit the bully in the mouth. And sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes talking that peace, and I just don't. I try. Sometimes I would think, and I would have this conversation with my great grandfather. Sometimes I'd be like, they probably would have hung me back in the day. And the reason I say that because
They hang you now.
they hang me down. I am not my ancestors, though. I am truly not my ancestors. But I say that because some part of me would have said, "Yo, we outnumbered this family right here on this thing." I know they would have got me. I'd have looked at the numbers, and so when I think about it, though, and you do enough research, there were many plantations that were overrun by the slaves. but you won't get those stories. And so now, growing up, I would think like, why do they push that to us so much? Why? Right? To be peaceful, to not fight back psychologically, right? Don't fight back at us. Don't go get guns too. We're gonna let y'all march. Y'all march, and it gets polarized, and I get it. It is to bring attention and awareness. I just couldn't see myself looking at my people. You bring your German Shepherds, I'm bringing a pit bull. That's how my mind looks. So if y'all gonna walk on the street with y'all police dogs, I'm gonna walk on the street with my hood dogs. That was my mindset, and how it has always been. But it doesn't take away the symbolism of what Dr. King stood for. Now that I do admire, but I always think it's two sides to a coin. And unbeknownst, they would have people think that Malcolm and Martin them didn't get along and they was opposing, and they really wasn't. They were friends. Let's be clear. And so I look at the separation, but this country sometimes, who could you get the masses to follow? Where could you get them to weaken? We're the most forgiving people I ever known. Was that conditioned for us to be that way? I think about those things. And so, yes, I don't agree with the disrespect of the king and the king family. I'm not a fan of that. I just get a little testy. I think that you gotta uplift the other things too, but they won't do that. It
Yeah.
empowers us too much.
But I think it's interesting. Fred, you mentioned like in the West Coast that you all don't learn as much about the civil rights leaders as we might do in the South. Is that a true statement, a fair statement?
Yeah, that's what I was.
I will suggest to you that part of that is because those of us who left the South and went West, we left all the vestiges of racism and being degraded and discriminated behind. And I'm not saying that they didn't deal with racism in Los Angeles or California or wherever, but I just don't think it was as in your face, because Dr. King didn't die there. He didn't live there. He lived and died in the South.
Mm-hmm.
So that area had a totally different, mindset probably. And it's very possible, because think about it, those people who were leaving here, they were leaving here because they wanted a new life. They were running from Jim Crow South.
You said something really profound. Because you notice that a lot of people from the West, more so than the South, their debates be about being native to the land.
Yeah.
Right? It's being native to the land. And in the South, the Bible Belt especially, you're absolutely right. And partly because we still live it today.
But think about it though, racism looked differently in the West Coast, right? Think
Yeah.
about the LAPD.
How does it look there?
It was
Confused.
no, I mean racism was very prominent. Think about it. I mean even from Donald Trump's father, how they built up these apartments, and they redlining was one of the first things that happened in California, right? One to make people not have apartments, and it wasn't in your face, we hanging you in the middle of the street. No, but it was more of a LAPD, we gonna send crack into your neighborhood, and that's how the crack epidemic started, right? They did it to African Americans. That's how they were holding us down. So that is still a form of racism, right? It's just not a KKK with a hood over their head, but it was definitely it's probably to this day, it's probably a lot more, because now we have more of the Hispanic culture that's moved into the California area. So it's a different type of issues there. But back then, you can lean to that, because when people went west, right, you went for gold, you went for that, but black people wasn't getting the gold, right? They were still being
domestic.
Yeah,
Well,
Native Americans. It was just a lot. It just looks different. But let's be clear, racism was prominent throughout the entire United States.
true. I think you're right. It looked different, right? It's different in New York. New York to me is still segregated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So nobody.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
very segregated.
they even defined the areas of the
that's true.
boroughs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Little
it's
China,
still
little,
segregated.
little whatever. But here in the South, y'all always hear me say, "I'm a Grady baby. I'm born and raised in Atlanta."
Yeah.
Part of that pride comes out of the fact that the Weems family is a strong family name, black and
Mm-hmm.
white, and the only slave plantation in the southeastern section of the United States is the Weems plantation in Locust Grove that
Sure
still
is.
stands today. Right. So I'm gonna show you guys a picture of it, so you can see what I'm talking about.
I think I asked you about that too. I asked you when I lived out there. I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Your family came out this way,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Butts County and all that."
Yeah. You guys
got a
see that
whole
picture?
y'all got a whole website, man.
Man, crazy.
Crazy.
That house is where my ancestors were enslaved people. Now, what I found to be interesting about that is this. I remember going out there because there's a cemetery. There's a cemetery for the whites, and then there's a cemetery for the enslaved people. And the cemetery for the enslaved people, they say, has about 173 graves in it. But when you walk, there are about maybe 7 gravestones left. One is by the lady named Sally Wings. But the graves look like this. Because it wasn't good land. It was swamp land. And they had to work and till the fields when their loved ones died, and then after they worked, then they were able to take their loved one to that area to bury them. Think about it. No streetlights. And you going in there and you shoveling, and they didn't have a coffin. So they just shrouded him in cloth and put him in the ground, is what I was told. And they did an ultrasound, and that's how they found it was about 173 graves. But they said that the tree roots have grown through the remains. And what I thought was interesting is that while I was there, I was like, wow, these are my ancestors. These are my people, right? And then someone said, actually, potentially not, because enslaved people may or may not have been related, but they all carried the same name because they were property of the master.
Good point. Good point. Good point. I don't even think of it like that.
So I didn't either, Fred. All that time I was like, yeah, these are my ancestors, these are my people.
Right.
Because I'm thinking like family lineage.
Right.
Not realizing we were property.
That's true.
And it could have been my great-great-grandparents, but it also could not been.
More likely than not, because they separated us as families, and they separated us, right? Because we had to. So wow, that's
A lot happened. We also
Ooh.
changed the spelling of the name to sometimes not associate with the slave owner, the slave master too.
That's right. Like some of my family changed their name to WYMS. Yeah.
Wow. Man, I would love for us to do a show, y'all, where we actually bring something to the show in our lineage that people didn't know and that you found out. And it's like, I didn't know, because some of us may have.
I already did it just now.
Check that box.
But you find out that, dang, I had an uncle that was the first to do this or was this, and you find these newspaper clippings on them, and it doesn't get passed down. And you really, I think, me personally, it helps you understand the makeup of who you became.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll share one with y'all. I found out that I had a relative who actually played with Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, we also have a park in Arkansas. So the Thompsons originated in Arkansas.
Mm.
We actually have a park that is named after them. So, ironically, what do I love to do?
Music.
Music.
Yeah.
So somewhere down that line of that lineage, something has been passed down into the makeup of who we are in our DNA and our personality trait. And to your point, Wings, when you talked about these kids not knowing who Martin Luther King, Ralph David Abernathy is, and so forth, they don't even know who the people are in their own family beyond their mom and dad. This generation,
They don't care.
they don't care, and they become lost. And I I think that's systematically done. Whoever is the puppet strings of this orchestration, honestly, is doing a good job. Is doing a good job.
Think about it, man.
And
When my family
most of us
moved
get
up,
so tied up in survival in life, we're not passing that down.
think about it. My family, when they moved west, I seen my grandparents, and Williams know this story, but probably a handful of times, and I know you you talked to your grandparents app, and you talked to you just spoke about talking to your great great grandfather, right? I probably talked to my grandma maybe 5 times in my life, like maybe.
Wow.
Not that they were passed away, but because the separation of just being distant, right? You know how people say you going to your grandma's house for the summer or your cousins. I never had that opportunity in real life. So
Wow.
to your point, I mean, and I don't think I'm the only one that shares that, right? I think that there's a lot of us that have that disconnect unless people all move to the West, and which, that didn't happen. So that's very important to hear and know.
Wings helped me realize I didn't know how fortunate I was to grow up with the generations that I grew
Yeah.
up with.
Yeah.
Even now, my aunts are, those that I call my aunt are really my mom's aunts.
Yeah.
Those that I call my cousins are technically my mom's like first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But we grew up so I didn't really think that was abnormal, and mainly because I was always with family. Family unions for us were large.
And it's the
Wow.
thing,
You know?
people are often shocked when they see how close my family is. I have a pretty large family, but even my immediate family, when people see how large we are or how close we are, sometimes it's a little off-putting, I guess, if people are not used to it. Like, once you get 18 years old in my family, you get to call a family meeting. And here's the thing, whether you're speaking to somebody or not, you must attend that family meeting. It is not optional. Because if somebody takes their time to call a family meeting, that means whatever the issue is, it is important and you must attend. But not everybody has that. And I had to realize it. I thought it was common.
Mm-mm.
It's not.
It's not. And we're not teaching that. The more we continue to grow or go and grow, I guess we're losing that, unfortunately, that family lineage, right? We're breaking further and further away, which is, it's scary because the more you break away, the less you lose of your identity or your family's identity or
That's true.
what your last name means, and it's just sad, to be honest.
I'm sure that clip is gonna when we people see this tonight, they're gonna think of some people gonna say it's disrespectful, and some people are gonna say that it's entertaining.
And I guarantee you, it'll be broken down and split by generation.
It will be, yeah, it will be.
No,
It
so
will
I want to.
be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I wanted to go to something a little more lighthearted, but serious at the same time. Tyrese Gibson.
My boy.
Coca-Cola.
West Coast.
Y'all remember when he did that when he was on the bus singing?
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what?
So Tyrese says that there is an expiration date on loyalty. So I want us to look at what he says, and then I want to ask y'all, is there an expiration date on loyalty? Let's see what he says.
I want you to make the decision. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to do something uncomfortable, which is put your face mask on first before trying to help others. I know it's uncomfortable because the thought is, well, if the plane is going down, I got to put the face mask on the kids. I got to take care of my wife. I got to take care of my husband. I got to take care of everybody and make sure everybody is okay. Everybody's okay, right? I'm f***ed up. I have nothing left, and I've taken care of everybody, and I got nothing left. And does anybody care to notice?
Mm.
Hello? Anybody care to notice that I got nothing left for me? I ain't got nothing financially. Does anybody want to pour into me the way I've poured into everybody? Anybody want to ask me if I need any food or groceries? Or y'all just gonna keep eating everything in the fridge, even when you got money and you can put food in the fridge, you don't do it because you're so used to bleeding me dry.
Ooh.
This year, we have to do it different. You've heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. Loyalty has an expiration date. You can't continue holding on to dead weight, right? Because every boat has a capacity. And the reason that you are out of it and you're wiped out and you're tired and you're depleted and you don't feel fulfilled is because you're continuing to function beyond your capacity. Literally, think about this. I don't care if it's a Carnival Cruise Line ship, them huge boats.
Mhm.
Every boat has a capacity. Your life has a capacity, and most of us are continuing to function beyond the scope of our capacity. And we got nothing left for ourselves.
That
Wow.
ain't lighthearted. That's deep.
Yeah, it
It
is.
is deep.
Once you listen to what he said, because it's true.
Yeah.
Iyanla was on, and I'm not a big Iyanla follower, but when she makes sense, she makes sense. She talked about the imposter syndrome. Have y'all ever heard that?
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome is where you feel guilty about success in your life when the other people in your family may have not experienced the same level of success that you have. And I've
Yeah.
suffered from that. I suffered from it. Not as much as I used to, but I used to suffer horribly from it. Because your thing is, they grew up with me. They were in the same family as I am, and God, God gave me, blessed me, awarded me these things. He didn't get a chance to give it to them, so I'm gonna make sure they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that's when he said they're eating all the food out your refrigerator, and then you go in there to get a Coke, and there's nothing there. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Yeah. Go ahead, Fred.
I think the mindset has to be, what are you doing this for, right? If you're saying you're loyal, you're not doing it, in my opinion. You're not doing it for people to know what you're doing. You're not doing it to get the attention. You're doing it because you want to do it. If you get to the point that you don't want to do it, then don't do it, right? I think that's the expiration date. But you also got to know your capacity level, right? You have to know your capacity level. Everybody as an individual know or have to at least do the do the search of, can I do this anymore? What is causing me? And you'll know that when you start doing things and you feel resentful, right? Or when you start feeling, they're taking advantage of me or things. Those are like key indicators in my mind. Like, am I feeling taken advantage? They may not be taking advantage of you, but if I'm starting to feel that way, I think that's the time to kind of check in and say, okay, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this for what reason? To look good because I'm helping somebody out, or am I doing this because I really just want to help this individual out? So I think to Tyree's point, I get it, but why are you doing it? What is your mindset of doing these things? Because I think true loyalty means you will do it regardless of. But I could be
And
wrong because there's a thing called toxic loyalty as well, right? You could do it, and
What's
it
that?
may not. It's a fake, it's a facade word that I've heard therapists use, but it's something that you're doing something that it doesn't benefit you. So you're loyal, but then the people that you're doing it for, I guess to Tyree's point, is they're not doing it back for you, and it becomes toxic, and you become resentful. That person becomes resentful because they don't think you're doing it, and it's just it's just gonna the relationship is gonna end. It's just gonna end bad too. And I
hmm,
hate that some good relationships end badly because no one recognized when to stop or when to take a break or when to move forward. And I think
Right.
we struggle on that. To be honest.
Toxic loyalty. I like that. What about you,
yeah,
Al?
man, it's several different things. I think it's levels to it. You know, when you're a kid, you gotta have so many friends. You ride it out with so many friends. As you get older, it's only really a select few
Yeah.
that you can truly call your friend. But in those select few are not really like friends, they're like family.
Yeah.
Um, to Fred's point, I think sometimes it can be toxic. We see loyalty to someone land some people in jail. And the person who is very loyal is the one serving time. He was loyal
Mm.
to the person, oh, I take the charge for you, right?
Hmm.
Also, to Fred's point, recognizing who you being loyal to,
Ooh.
right? That's important. And I also want to say that sometimes there's a misconception. Just because I'm loyal to you, should I expect you to also be loyal to me? Right? It's like in a relationship, just because you may be in love with me, don't mean that I feel the exact same way that you feel. Right? And people get in trouble and say it becomes such a automatic thing. I love you too. But do you? Or is it this way? You know, if you're going through something, somebody say, I'll pray for you, but do they really?
Right. And can you
This is work.
can you love, excuse me, if you are a gallon jug, can you love somebody who only has a quart jug? Because when you pouring out your gallon jug love to their quart jug, it's gonna overflow. So it's gonna seem like, oh, you love this person because you're doing so much for them, so much for them. But then when you're waiting like to have it reciprocated and their quart is pouring into your gallon, it doesn't even get a half fill.
Yeah.
But they've given you all they have.
Yeah.
How do you recognize that they've given you all they have as opposed to you didn't give me what I gave you, so you don't love me
So
the way
there's a
I
thing
love
called
you?
expectation, right? It's the expectation. Because I do, therefore I should receive, right? Because I do this for you, I should get this in return.
Uh-huh.
It's an expectation versus I do this because it's the makeup of who I am.
So you're saying the love is being given on the first part with an expectation.
With an expectation. You're expecting to receive the same in return from someone who may not be at that level of giving that you are, and that level of providing that you are, right? And so that's an uphill battle. But if you're doing it because how your heart feels to do it and how you care about doing it with no expectation, that's a different feeling than having some expectation. Now, don't get me wrong. The person doing that giving has to also be thoughtful when, how much of yourself do you give? And when do you give? Because you don't want to be in a situation where it starts to change who you naturally are.
So how do they know though? Think about it. If you're a giving person and you're giving from the gallon jug and this quart is just overflowing,
Yeah.
you're just thinking, I'm I'm really showing this person how much I love them.
Yeah.
But
So
think
they
about
expect,
it. That
yeah,
that term love is selfish, right? The way we use love, and people don't look at it, but it's supposed to be a selfless word, but it's a selfish word. And what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by that, The person that's loving someone, they want to feel love back, right? They
That's
want to
right.
get that love back.
It's
And the people that are
reciprocal.
getting the love, they want to feel the love. It's a very selfish word, but I don't think it was intended. The true meaning of love is I'm gonna love this person regardless. I don't care what they do. But is that real? Like to Al's point, is that a real thing? I don't
Yeah,
know. I think
you
that's
know,
the definition.
love is a double-edged sword. It causes a lot of hurt too. Love does.
Yeah.
I think the expectation I mentioned in Tavis can go on both ends, right? Because you can actually be pointing to somebody and their expectation is because you have, you should be able to.
Which
And I know you experienced that. Fred, you probably experienced that. I know I've experienced it. Because people look at it differently depending on your relationship. It's an expectation. And people can take advantage of that depending on their expectation of you.
But what about the
Right?
person who has the court? When they finish emptying their court out, they've given you all they have. They've given you all they have, and you're like, more. I gave you more, so give me more. How does a court person communicate? I've given you all I have. I don't have any more to give.
I think if they stop and realize of others that have filled their cup up when theirs was going empty at the same time, right? I see
court person?
example. I see Antavius, the way he pours his court into other people, whether it's trying to uplift them. I've seen him take on mentees and get them through law school. He's pouring into them, and I know that some probably ain't called you once they got their law degree. And if they did, it may have been for something. But because others have seen Antavius pour in, Antavius may not recognize the other people who have been pouring into him as well to allow him to keep pouring, right? And so it is, and the reason he didn't see it is because he didn't have the same, and this Antavius didn't have the same expectation
of the
those
person
pouring into
me
him in
as
the way
I
that he was
did.
pouring. But because they saw how giving he was, they kept pouring into him. So I think it just comes back to the expectation of the person. Now, it become a point where Antavius would see, okay, I poured all I can pour into you. I've given you all the tools. I've given you the straight yellow brick road to be who you need to be, but I can't do it for you, right? At that moment of clarity is when Antavius decides, like, the synergy is not the same. The expectations are different. I'm expecting to pour into you so you can elevate yourself, but you're expecting me to pour in you so you can just come keep asking me for it.
Right.
It's easier for you to ask me for it, than for Antavius to be pouring into you, see you elevate, see you fall, pour a little bit more in you to keep you elevating, see you fall, pour a little bit more into you. So that's my thing. That's how I look at it.
That's an interesting
Ray,
point.
you got anything on that?
No,
Yeah,
Fred?
I agree. 100%. To your point, like if if somebody's pouring into you, you don't negate the other people that are still pouring. So you could be pouring to somebody else, and you may expect them to be pouring into you, but other people are probably likely pouring into you, and you may not recognize it. But I think love to me is a principle, right? I think you reap what you sow. I think if you continue to love, you will receive love. You may not receive it the way you think you should. You may not receive it from the person you're doing it for, unfortunately. You pour into this one person, they crap on you, right? We see that or hear about that all the time.
Right.
And then you feel bad, like, dang, I wasted my time. But did you really, or did you elevate the idea of what love is? And somebody that you may not even know, somebody's out there praying for you. Somebody's over there.
Yeah.
I think love is it shouldn't be transactional. It should be transitional, right? Those are two different words. We look at love as a transaction, and it's not a give and take all the time. It should be, but it's not always. But it can be transitional, whereas grandma's praying for you late at night and saying, look, I'm praying for Antavius, and I know he gonna get through. Or mama's praying for you, I know he gonna get through. And you may not know where this strength is coming from, but you got it. And I think we kind of look at it from that person, which creates resentment, but you're loved, and I think sometimes we kind of miss that part too.
Those are great points.
I mean, shoot, you poured in both of us for law school. Neither one of us went yet, but you was pouring into us. Now,
Sure.
we may not have went that way, but in our respect for rights, we have elevated from the, you know what I'm saying, the you met me at 17. So 17, 18, 9-year-old kids that when we met in college, we've elevated that
Mhm.
pouring into. And if you think about it, 30 years later, here we are on the Brothers Show still talking. So it may, the pouring into may not have manifested in the way that we probably envisioned it, but it manifested in the way it was supposed to.
Got it. That makes a lot of
And
sense.
you, yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
that was supposed to be light. That was heavy.
That was heavy. Okay, okay, yeah. What's y'all's hot topic? Okay, I got one. Because
Was it
on
hot
the same
topic?
tone, it may be a little heavy because I think this is true though, and I may get beat up for this a little bit, but this is what I think I feel. I'm still evaluating it, but I'm starting to believe that Nicki Minaj is striking out because she's hurt.
Mm.
I'm starting to believe that all this is a farce, all of it is a ruse, that she's just hurt and she's striking out. But if you remember, you know, karma comes back around. The same thing that Nicki is saying that Cardi is doing by not being appreciative and respectful, it's the exact same thing that she did to Lil' Kim.
Yeah.
The very same thing she did to Lil' Kim. She was not respectful of Lil' Kim.
No.
And Lil' Kim was not a fly-by-night rapper. She's never been.
Yeah.
Right? She influenced the game.
Yeah. Sound like the kids not knowing who Malcolm X is, huh? Or who Martin Luther King is. Similar.
Yep.
I'll tell you, I don't know if she's hurt. I think that she's being used, right? I think she's being used. I think that also she's doing it because she has a president in office that if you like him and show you like him and you for him, he will then give you favor. Right? And if you look at, and I don't know, I don't pretend to know Nikki's legal status as an American citizen,
Right.
her status with her family members that may be incarcerated for X,
Sure.
Y, and Z. I don't know. But I do know that if I want to get my loved one out of prison who's probably facing years and years of time and God knows what he's going through, and I want to make sure that I'm able to stay here in the country for whatever reason to do my music, if they came to me and they're like, listen, all I need you to do is go on the show and I need you to do this. It's entertainment for one, right? You do this, we get your followers. That's that conspiracy theory. And maybe I can get a pardon here. And maybe I can get some status here. We won't deport you. It's those things. And I don't know any of that, but I'm here, what happens on social media, what's been said. So it could be many factors.
Yeah. But one thing I know for sure is that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people. Right? And it never fails me. Right? When you dig deep, and you don't even have to pull back a lot of layers to find out that the person is coming from a place of hurt. I just believe she's coming from a place of hurt.
That she got a really, really she got a handler on her that's making her
It came
do
out of
certain
nowhere.
things.
It came out of nowhere though.
Yeah.
It did come out of nowhere.
It did. Yeah.
It came out of nobody expected. It was it came out the blue, and I think that's what was so shocking. And sometimes when you put yourself, you don't know how to dial back, having the right people in your corner.
That's true.
This industry is wicked.
But it's sad, man. Especially when you have siblings, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gets even more difficult, right? So, I know a family is going through,
yeah,
with siblings, So
I'm pretty she's the right people around her.
But
to your point, but to your point, Nikki, you reap what you sow. She did Lil' Kim, shady.
Dirty.
I mean, she did. Think about it. I don't know if we remember how clear, but Lil' Kim she even tried to
Get her kicked
talk
off
to him.
records and stuff.
Yeah, like and Nikki was like, "No, I'm hot. I'm the hot girl," and she was the hot girl on the block. But now when Cardi and these other young ladies are coming out, it's just it's just full circle in my opinion.
And let me ask you a question, Wiz. As I look at that, and Fred, you say that, and I heard Weem say it too. When we go back to Nikki and whatnot, I actually equate that to when it comes to politics.
What
do you mean? You remember there was this big to do about the old regime not getting out of the way so the young regime to come up and feeling like you got to pay me homage because I did this before you.
And they will always say, you need to get a seat at the table. And my response would be, why? How? You won't get up.
Right.
Yes. And so to some degree though, do you have to give somebody that respect, their ego, to feed their ego because they were there before you?
Yes. We've had this argument before. Have a certain thing as respect to lineage.
Yeah.
And I get it. You don't necessarily subscribe to it, but we have, if we had the same political structure, because now politics is politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You may as well count your votes like you count your followers. But if you had that group, and like it was in Atlanta, if you wanted to run for something,
you had to go through them.
You had to go to them and through them. And if they said it's not your turn, it wasn't your turn.
So there's gatekeeping.
If you ran, they would make sure that you didn't win, one, and two, that you were not going to ever be able to run because you disobeyed.
But wait, that's the problem I have with that. That's gatekeeping and that's kissing ass. Like, I can acknowledge you, but every time I come out front and every time I'm doing something, I don't have to keep acknowledging you, bro. I don't. I shouldn't. I'm saying I shouldn't have to.
Mean? If I was the senator,
yeah,
and I retired and I endorsed you,
and
I told all my people, all my voters, after he showed, I wouldn't say that. I would say David. David is the one. Vote for him. You don't believe that you owe me a debt of gratitude?
I do. Not every single time.
How many times do you think you need to invoke my name?
The moment I win, if I lose, whatever, I acknowledge those who paved the way for me, who made it possible for me to get this far. Now, every time I come out, do I need to say thank you every single time?
No, I don't. I'm not saying thank you.
Do the gatekeeping though. If you believe in me, believe in me. If you believe I can do the job, then let me go do the job.
Do you think you won by yourself, or do you think I helped you win?
I think it would probably be you and others. But I can't keep going down the list of the elites who were there before me and keep naming them and paying homage to them.
It wasn't other seat. It was my seat. And I got my voters.
For your seat, it was somebody else's seat.
But
it becomes gatekeeping.
I'm with Apple on this one.
It becomes gatekeeping.
That's how you get the raw picks. And some people just don't never want to leave. And yeah, I said it, but that's how people like that. And look, man, you are no longer. Yeah, you did. I'm thankful. I'm proud. But we're competitors now, right? If I'm in the same race, if you jump in the race and now you don't want to give up that seat, you no longer. Yeah, I respect what you did 30 years ago, but now we're competitors now. And I'm here to take over that seat because you won't give it up, right? And so I see both sides, but I do see where people just won't.
Fred, that's a little different. But if I'm giving it up, I crown you with it.
Well, then that's...
you move out the way. Let me leave.
Then I think you should give it.
I can let you leave, but what you said, once you thank me on your election night, that's it.
No, but every time I go public and every time I'm doing an interview, I'm not gonna keep saying Antavius, Antavius, Antavius,
You don't
Antavius.
think you
That's my
need to
job.
evoke my name when you're telling your story?
I don't. But what I find is that when the name is not evoked, people get antsy, right? You still got rappers doing rap from rappers delight days, still talking about, yeah, hip hop wouldn't be nothing without me. But you
That's
ain't
true.
relevant right now. Hip hop has changed, right? The climate has changed. Ain't nobody coming to your show unless they like 50
How
plus.
about
They don't even
paying?
know
How
who
about
you
paying?
are.
But don't you pay homage to your parents? Yes,
Yeah, I think my parents.
you pay homage to your parents. So why not pay homage to who are your parents in the rap game, in the politics game, in the legal game, in the
Because I probably don't consider them that,
You don't consider them your
right? They ain't my parents. You know me well enough to know
I just think that
they ain't my parents.
I just think that we have to do a better job in thanking the people who put us there.
Now, but once you do that, once you thank the people, it should be done. You got your acknowledgement, you got to thank. The problem I have is that people still want to be relevant. And it is true. Some of these old heads want to cling to the new school to still be relevant. And they still want to have a voice. They want to be behind the scenes, still running the show.
Right.
They
Right.
want to be behind the scenes, still calling the shots and making that
Kingmaker.
person a puppet that want to stand on their own 2 feet. No, I'm just as intelligent as you are, bro. You got a PhD, I got a PhD. You got a law degree, I got a law degree. And I don't care how long you've done it, because I've seen you rip attorneys a new a-hole that have been doing law longer than you. You ain't owe
Yeah,
them
but that
nothing,
one
no,
man,
huh?
let me say this. Fred will tell you this because Fred was actually in court with me. Just last week, I had a case against one of my mentors.
Yeah.
Right, Fred?
Yep.
And do I think I did my thing? Yeah, I think I did my
You
thing.
did it.
But at the same time, Al, Fred will tell you, everybody will tell you, they probably got sick of it. Throughout, I would throw in a joke and just say, I'm only doing what you taught me. Right?
Yeah.
Right, Fred? I
Yeah,
was
he
like,
did.
he was my mentor, so I'm doing what he taught me. And he would just sit back and laugh. Even when he got mad, and I would say it to kind of, lighten the mood. But guess what? After that case is over, and it was a very, very, very contentious case.
Very contentious.
But after it was over, people hung up mad. People left that courtroom mad. What did
Who
I
cares?
do? I picked up that phone and I called him to say, I hope we're okay. He was like, come on now, you know me. He was like, and plus, you gave me my nod in court. They know where you got it from. And we talked about something else. Because I
Yeah, but
realized that outside the courtroom, we're friends and colleagues. But
I get it.
I don't believe in not acknowledging people, man. There are too many lawyers, judges that have made a way for Weems.
They
And I'm
did.
going to make sure that they know how much I appreciate it.
So let me ask you this: the next time you go against him in court, are you gonna do? You gotta acknowledge him again?
Yeah. Because it
That's
may
a
be a
personal
different
thing.
judge. It may be a different
It
set
may
of people.
be. I think certain things call for circumstances, but what I'm not gonna do is wet your whistle every time I go in there and we head to head. Like, listen, I gave the first time we went at it and head to head, I did that. We know what it is. It's all good. You know how I respect you and you respect me.
Baby,
We got mutual
it's
respect and
not
love.
for him.
But I ain't gonna go to the next court case and say, yeah, I'm doing what you taught me. Yeah,
But
I
it's not for
appreciate
him,
you.
Al.
Yeah,
It's
not
not
doing
for
that.
him. It wasn't for
Who's
him.
it for?
It's for the people around that see me doing my thing to him.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think. Pause.
yeah.
Pause.
I
Pause.
go
But
ahead.
just be doing I had to check it
Man,
out.
jump in, man. What you got?
As people see me, do what I do. So I'm gonna
I
make
love it.
certain that they know that I honor this man. Why we going at it now? this is all about this case in this courtroom. When we leave here,
Yeah.
we're friends. He's my
Absolutely.
mentor.
You know, people say people say I can debate a lot, or I can be argumentative, or
Yeah.
I can be. And here's your flowers. Where did I get it from?
You got it from me, absolutely, part of it.
All right. So, but I swear to God, I ain't gonna say it 30,000 times.
Nobody needs
I
it,
know
but
who
there are
we are.
people who need to hear it, and then there are those who don't need to hear it.
Yeah, I
But
think when
when
it's
you-
genuine,
But when
right?
you
It
find,
comes out in a
it's
genuine
always
space.
genuine. It's got to be genuine. If it's not genuine, don't say it.
Except when you gatekeeping. And I'm going back to the example you used. You know, the gatekeepers, they want to pick and choose. Pick the person. If you don't pick and choose me because it helps benefit your gain on the back end. Pick and choose me because you think I'm the best one. But
Fred,
because I don't like something you might have said, it becomes personal. Now you don't want to pick me now. That's petty.
it's petty. Fred, did I do too much last week when I was thanking him and letting people know who he was?
I mean, I think I share. I think I share your attitude as opposed to Al's. I definitely understand that attitude, but you know, the people that come before you, there's nothing wrong to always give them the flowers. You know, I don't see an issue with that. Like I said, I only have an issue with the people that don't give up the seat. Like when they know it's past their time. Those are the people I'm like, okay, look, man, yeah, like relax. But the people that came before, I'm always going to give people the respect that came before me, that's taught me, that has raised me, whether I agree with them or not, right? We may fell out, but I'm still always going to, because they were a special part in my growth. But then, you know, like I said, there comes a time when people don't give up their seat. And I think now you're no longer my mentor. You're my competitor now, right? You're no longer, if this is what you want to do, we can do it, but let's go there. And I think I see both, right? So,
yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what a whole episode of Hot Topic looked like. Not one commercial.
I like it.
Brotherhood on air. Pull up a chair.
Okay, America, and you heard it. We had a whole episode of Hot Topic.
Spinning life stories,
and we will see you next week with our regularly scheduled program. We are the brothers. I'm Octavius.
I'm Fred.
Aparicio. Like, share, and subscribe.
Please do.
Peace.
www.thebrothersbrothazing.com.
Every tale's legit. Fred's jokes hit hard at Bariso's wit. Antavius drops wisdom smooth and quick. Three heads, one vibe. The chemistry. From the set